had to pass a faith test, where would you be? We can give in to fear, or we can be full of faith. We can say, you know what, man, this is a sinful world, and we're sinful people, and life isn't going how we wanted it to go, but I know that God is still on the throne. He's still in control, and that he has something that he wants to do here because he's good. God's not dead. Our God is very much alive. He is very much working, and he has work he still wants to do. The question is, can we see it? How many of you like to go to the movie theater and watch a 3D movie? You like to go to a movie theater. Isn't it fun to sit in the back of the room during a 3D movie theater and watch people interact with it? You know, there's guys, wow, like they freak out, you know, or they're trying to grab at stuff. Like, and all of a sudden it happens where you're like, oh, like it kind of gets you too, and you're like, oh, these things really work. You taking the glasses off and you try to watch the movie. It's a mess. It doesn't make any sense. The colors are all blended together. It seems really blurry and nothing makes sense. And then you put the glasses on and you're like, oh, that's what's really happening. Can I suggest to you that faith is like that? You start seeing what God has intended. That's exactly what God wants us to do. He wants us to look through the eyes of faith. If we're not careful, we'll base our view of God's involvement in our life based on our circumstances. Great circumstances do not necessarily make great life. Great circumstances do not necessarily, or certainly do not make a great faith. In fact, the opposite can be true. If you have everything life has to offer perfectly laid out for you, we can fall into a trap saying, you know what, I'm good. Everything's worked out. You know what, God? I don't think I need you as much. Faith is how you feed your soul, and fear is how you destroy it. Faith is where the life is. Faith is where the joy is. Faith is where the freedom is found. Fear is the opposite of faith. Fear is like a toilet bowl. Have you ever seen this happen in your life? You start just a little bit and you start going around, and all of a sudden you start going literally down the rabbit hole of all the things that could go wrong. You start worrying, you start giving in to fear. What happens? It gets faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. And where does it go? The sewer. That's how toilets work. Does anybody, you guys tracking with me? Toilets, sewer, flush. Fear wants to take you down. Faith is like a rocket ship. The more that you exercise it, the further you go, and the destination isn't the sewer, it's the presence of God. Fear will spiral you down, and faith will spirit you up. God has something great that he wants to do in you and great that he wants to do through you, and the way that all of it gets unlocked is faith. Real faith is not like a blind faith. It's a sure faith. It's not wishful thinking, well, I just hope this happens. I mean, God, you're kind of like last resort, so I just got to hope you do something here. I mean, God, I've tried everything else, so God, if you just could, that's not faith. Faith is I'm grounded in my thinking. This isn't my last resort. This is my first step, because my life is rooted in something that is sure. And as sure as this stage is right here, right now, there is a God in heaven who is working and has a plan and wants to do something in my life. Faith is like a muscle. The more we use it, the more we grow, and the more God can do in us and through us. I started riding a bike recently. I haven't ridden a bike in about 30 years. I've realized real quickly how hilly this area is. I'm not ready for this, and my legs are sore. They're like in a continual state of soreness right now. My legs are like, don't do it, turn around, stop this. And I'm like, submit, legs, we will take this hill. No, please, no more hills. Come on, let's just go back and lay in bed. No, you will do as I say. It's literally the conversation that happens on the bike. In time, my legs will be able to do what I am stretching them to do, and that's why I'm exercising them. The amount of miracles you and I experience will be directly related to the amount of faith that we have in exercise. We all want miracles. We all need miracles. And the way we will experience the miraculous is by exercising our faith. Sometimes the precursor to great faith is great difficulty. But we're not those that shrink back. No, we believe and we're saved. And essentially, it's passing a test. Noah, it had never rained where he lived, and he had to build a boat. Abraham, he had to lay his son on the altar. Joseph, he got thrown in a pit and then thrown in a prison and had to trust that God had not forgotten him. Moses, every time Pharaoh would not allow him to leave, he had to trust that God was still with him. There's always a test, and the test proves how strong your faith is. It's like martial arts. You have to go through a test to get that next belt. I'm not speaking from experience. Allegedly is what I hear. That's what I see in the movies. You have to test to get the belt. The belt is proof of how strong you are. I believe God is testing us. I believe God is ready to level us up. And I think now can be the church's finest moment. But we have to look at this thing through the eyes of faith.